Today is July 9th, Tuesday or Wednesday. Lost track of the day. I'm in Southern California. It's either South El Monte or Whittier. I'm at Rose Hill Cemetery. I just took care of interring Mom's ashes, my mother's ashes. She passed away 2.5 years ago. Arrangements were over here. Took me a day to get in to see the arranger. They call him my counselor. And where she's going to be placed, they had a plot quarter of a mile over this way. This is a big cemetery. Los Angeles is over here about 17-18 miles. The ocean's behind me. We grew up over here. See if I can see the mountains. I was born in Monrovia. Mother and I were born in Monrovia, and that's where my grandparents had their restaurant. I'm trying to look a little high because these things seem to be pointed down, even though I've got them up off the bridge of my nose. I'm using the camera glasses. You can just see the mountains up here. Get beyond these trees. Anyway, there's mountains over here. See if I can get a little closer. Yeah, you can't quite see it because of the smog. Oh, there you can make them out. Right up there is Arcadia, the tall peak, right above that lamppost, and the top light, and then electrical power beyond. The top of the mountain, I'm seeing it visually, the top of the mountain is just above the electrical tower. That's Mount Wilson. So Arcadia, Monrovia, Pasadena's over here on the left. They butt up against the mountains. And it's so smoggy, you can hardly see the mountains. When I was a child and everything was orange groves, citrus groves, it was very beautiful. You could see the mountains. Too many people, too much smog now. So I took care of interring Mother, and it's, let's see, it was 9:15 appointment, so it's got to be like 10:30 or so. It took a while. There's a lot of papers to sign. $2,500. She was cremated a couple of years, or when she passed, and so this is just dealing with they already had a plot. She already had a plot. She neglected to tell me that it was not right next door to my father, which I had always assumed. They bought plots in 1977, just a year after my sister had passed, and I guess they couldn't get them side by side, so they got two different rows. My father's in a row above my sister, and my mother is in a row below my sister. So that little detail was confusing, and we worked it out. So anyway, dealt with that. Both of my grandparents are here. Mother's father and mother are with a couple rows above where Mother is, and father and sister. My grandparents, Shaw grandparents, are in a different section of Rose Hills here. This is a huge cemetery. So everyone else had bronze markers. I don't know if you've priced funeral pricing lately, but it's very expensive. I mean, just to put, I didn't get a bronze marker. It would have been over $2,000 for a marker. So we ended up getting a stone one, etched stone, and the benefit of the newer technology on the etched stone, they could also include a photo. So when Mother had passed, on her obituary, I had put two photos. One when she was a young adult, just after high school, and then one a couple of years before she passed, when she still kind of had her marbles, side by side. So I think that that would be nice on a marker, and kind of makes up for not having a bronze marker. The as it was, the cost, all the fees for this, the fees for that, the marker itself was, I don't know, $1,500. And it came to just under $2,500 to take the box that I brought of ashes, put it in the dirt, and have a stone marker made. So that's taken care of. What I'm going to do, I'm going to drive back to the Bay Area, and probably won't upload this video until a day or two, whenever I can get Wi-Fi. Boy, last night was the motel from hell. Do not stay at the top 10 motel. It's up this, it was close to here. The reason I picked it was right on the corner, easy to get to, and I had a sign that said free internet. Well, yes, they have free internet. No, it doesn't work very good. So their Wi-Fi, the first room was on the ground floor. The Wi-Fi almost rarely worked, and the reason I moved is about 10:30 last night, I heard a gurgling in the bathroom. I went in to find the sink almost overflowing. They have some kind of a plumbing problem, and the drain backs up into the sink, into my sink. So they put me on an upstairs one, which the Wi-Fi worked better. It's still not great, but at least it mostly worked. So basically in a motel room, you just sleep anyway. So I just lived through the night. I'm still a little punchy getting the condo done. I was up for 2 days, drove down here, and with just a few hours of sleep, and I got some sleep last night, but with all the stuff that was going on, still need, this is gonna, what's coming up now, I think I've cleared the decks other than the last few. Go back to the Bay Area, take care of some more, tidy up business things with addresses and paying the last bills and whatnot, PG&E and the electric power. And I'm probably rambling because my brain isn't quite working yet due to lack of sleep in the last weeks and months of going through this remodel. In any event, what I'm going to do now, there you can kind of see the mountains up there. Remember to look up. See, I'm looking way above the mountains, so I'm hoping that this thing is pointed kind of straight ahead. I'm going to go over here, about 8 miles over in this area. This is maybe just inside Whittier. El Monte's over here. And over in this area, about looked like about 6, 7, 8 miles, something like that, was the last big battle in the Mexican-American War, when California became part of the United States. And there's a river, 2 rivers that came originally and still are here. But anyway, this battle was fought over here. There's a historical marker and a couple of cannons. I've seen it online, so I'm down here. I got to go that way anyway to drive back to the Bay Area. So I want to go take a quick look at that, and then it's drive back to the Bay Area. What I'm planning to take with me to Thailand is this backpack. It's got a lot of papers in there that I'm going to scan and get rid of the paperwork, so it's a little heavy. That stuff's going to the Goodwill. And this is the last of the items from my condo. The scanner and printer, I'm looking about there, so hopefully the camera's pointed at this. The scanner and printer are going to the Bigfoot Museum. Some of the stuff in these boxes go to them and or Goodwill. In this box here is my travel bag that I'll be checking in at the airlines. So I'm going to carry my backpack with important papers and my electronics on the plane. This will have clothing, odds and ends. I'm not taking a lot, just some t-shirts, and actually I'm not I have yellow and red T-shirts I'm either given to the Goodwill or thrown away, because that's the two factions that are at odds in Thailand. So you're not supposed to wear red or yellow. So I'm just taking a handful of T-shirts. I'm wearing the jeans. I'm taking 2 other short shirts and a pair of slacks that doesn't really fit till I lose some weight. My alarm clock, and might not even take it, but I've gotten used to using it. I get 50 pounds in a check-in bag. This was the bag I used when I went to Europe 21 years ago, so I haven't taken it out of the box much since then. I hope it's still usable, or else I'll have to buy another bag for checking in. I'm going to lighten the load on my shaving kit and pills, vitamins and whatnot. So I'm down to a backpack and a trunk right now. In the next day, a couple of days, is probably when I'm going to fly out. I have to get this down to a backpack and 1 bag. This is what the bag looks like when it's out of the box. It expands out. It's soft-sided bag. Just a sling shoulder strap. So depending on how much is in it, it's not so convenient to carry like a backpack, but I'll have a backpack, and then with the other hand I can use this, and I still have one hand free. That's the way it was when I went to Europe. So hopefully that hasn't deteriorated and I can still use it. I've got a blog named Bear Stick. Bear as in no bark. This is the stick. My friend, my roommate, but ended up being my best friend for my life, Chip Myers, and myself, when we first moved to the Bay Area, working computers, we took a trip to the Northern California Redwoods, and we found this stick. And it hung in my apartment for 34 years, or a better part of that. I'm probably going to give this to Ralph at the Bigfoot Museum. Maybe he can make necklaces, cut it up and make necklaces out of it or something, or at least put it back into the forest. That is Bear Stick, which I cannot take with me. It won't fit in the bag. That looks like the end of the property. 17. I always have to pull these glasses off to look at the LEDs on the inside of the temple. Yeah, this is it. My family's up over there. We were here yesterday because we had to identify the plot that is Mother's. And I wasn't really aware that Mom and Dad didn't get adjoining plots. They bought them a year after my sister died, and probably got the last of the plots. So they're in one. My father's above my sister by a row or two, and my mother is below my sister by a row or two. Seem to have a funeral going on here. This is where my family's buried. So we'll just do it's a very pretty hill. Kind of at the one end of Rose Hills. I'm about good half a mile from where I made the arrangements in the other end of Rose Hills. Very large. This is the chapel where my sister's memorial was held. Then we carried the casket up the hill. Very pretty area. So I'm kind of pointing into the sun, but I'm going to go up and see if I can find their grave sites, take one last look. I think they're right before the trees here. Grandma and Grandpa Moore, Francis and Herman Moore. My father, Robert P. Shaw. My mother will be there, Margaret F. Shaw. And my sister, Susan P. Shaw. All kind of in a grouping here. Boy, this took a while to find, and I was just here yesterday. All I had to do was look for where the dirt's picked up. That's where Mother's going to go, right there. It's just a little box. These are my grandparents. Grandma Frances, HK. My sister, therefore, should be down a ways. Mother's there. Sister, here she is. Susan P. Shaw. So much sun I can't see the viewfinder, so I hope that's coming out. This marker now is $2,200 to $2,500 for bronze. That means my father's up here somewhere. Susan, I think father's up here. Yeah, it's a sunk one. Now this is a VA marker. I asked them to re-level it because you know, the right third of it is kind of sunk. But this is what you get, or at least when he died in November of 1997, that was what the VA put out. So, father, grandma and grandpa, and Susan, my sister, and this will be my mother. She's going right here. That was the mark we made yesterday. What I ordered, I didn't get a bronze marker. I got a, see if we can find one here. I got a stone one, but with the stone ones, you can put a picture on there. So when I did Mother's obituary 2.5 years ago, I had a side-by-side picture of when she, just after high school, young adult, and then a couple of years before she died. I was just looking at one that had a picture and looked pretty nice. In any event, I got a stone marker. It was around $1,500 with a photo, colored photo. Oh, here it is. This is not a colored photo, but it gives you an idea of what they're going to do. See, that comes out pretty nice. Was a little concerned because stone can break easier than, and the etching may not last eternity. But basically, it's just something that you're putting in the ground. So it is what it is. Okay. So one last sweep. Very nice, pleasant area to, I guess, have your ashes. A lot of people buried here. I mean, they were so busy. I came yesterday morning. I got lucky and got an appointment with the counselor to make the arrangements this morning. Otherwise, it was going to be another day or two. And if I wanted to stay here to watch them actually put her in the ground, that's next week. So it's done.